Good morning. I want you to have an awesome day. And I want you to have that day on one concept. I have the power to change my life. There's an example in Scripture right here where in First Chronicles, chapter 4, with Jabez and verse 9 and 10, where a man was born in a terrible circumstance. His mother named him Jabez, which means grief, sorrow, pain. You could even say regret. She bore him and named him trouble, grief, pain. Imagine going to the first grade and say, what's your name? Trouble, grief, sorrow, pain. Wow, that's a great name. But he went to Scripture, and in reading Scripture, he found a precedent of Jacob when he had Benjamin, and Rachel, his heart love, was dying. And she said, call him Ben-Oni, son of my sorrow. Well, we're talking about very similar Hebrew words here. And here was a man that said, I found a precedent of somebody who changed. Now, why was that so important to him? Jacob knew the story of what it means to have a bad name, because they named him trickster, a person who grabs you by the heel, a person who tricks you, who takes advantage of you. And so he lived with that kind of name. But God renamed him. Why? Because when Esau was coming down to get him, he wrestled with the angel, which we know was a pre-incarnate Christ. And he said, I won't let you go until you bless me. I won't let you go until you bless me. And what did the angel say if you struggled all night? He said, you have prevailed with God and with man. No longer are you going to be called Jacob, trickster. You're going to be called Israel. We know the nation of Israel, not the nation of Jacob. It's an amazing difference. And so here is this man who says, I found a precedent of change in Scripture. I don't have to be called grief for the rest of my life. I'm going to turn that name into something great. And here's what he does. He calls on the God of Israel. Israel, right? One had his name changed. Saying, talking to God, praying to God, oh, that you would bless me indeed. Same words that Jacob used. And enlarge my territory. That your hand would be upon me. You would keep me from evil, and that I might not cause pain. And guess what? God granted him his request. Wow. God granted him his request. He gave him what he asked for. Did you know, if you look at the Bible and the chapter before that, there was a town where the scribes lived, the scribes being like the legislature of our country. They lived in Jabez. It was a town of honor. He became a source of blessing instead of a source of sorrow. He did all of that by finding himself in Scripture and praying back what he saw somebody else pray. And he changed his life. Now, what about your life do you want to change? You say, I'd like to change my income. Well, he prayed that God would enlarge his territory. God, I want you to stretch me out. I want you to give me more. It was not bad. I want to do more for your kingdom. I want to be a part of something bigger. You think God's up in heaven saying, that's terrible, that's wrong? No. He said that your hand would be with me. I want to be close to you, God. You think that's a bad prayer? God, I want to be close to you. I want you to keep me from evil. And I don't want to be a source of pain to anybody. God granted him his request, and he was a changed man. You can change anything about your life in the power of Christ. With Scripture, praying that back to God, and saying, God, would you change me according to your will? And would you give me these things? God will answer your prayer. You can change. God bless you. Have a great day.